Hello everyone, and welcome to the first lesson on coding libraries. First of all, what we mean by a coding library is a folder that's going to contain a set of code snippets organized into subfolders. Those snippets can then be used as a reference and copied as needed while working on a website or web application. The goal is to save time and to avoid having to start from scratch every time we're coding. We're starting off with one of the simplest and most essential pieces of code, HTML forms. Most of our websites will contain forms of some kind, so it's very helpful to have the code ready and not have to get back into the syntax and intricacies every time we need to use them. The idea here is to build a dummy form that's going to contain all the different types of input so that afterwards we can easily go back and copy the ones we need for our specific form. One thing that will remain the same for the most part is the outer tags of the form. The part that we might want to change is whether we're including the action and method parameters. We can see here we have a form with many types of input, drop-down lists, a multiple selection list, a multi-line text area, some text fields with labels, radio buttons, checkboxes, a date picker, a telephone input field, a file browser, and some buttons, one of them being an actual button and the other one a submit input. As we said earlier, the first type of form is one where we specify an action, that is a PHP file that will get called by the form, as well as a submission method, whether post or get. This is used in combination with a submit button that's going to trigger the form submission and call the PHP file that was indicated. We won't go into the technicalities here since it's already been covered in the series Web Languages in a Nutshell. The link is included in the description below. In short, we're using the form's built-in mechanisms for submission. In a separate HTML file, we're using a form without any action or method parameters. This one will use a regular button that calls a JavaScript function, which in turn will perform certain actions. Those can include an asynchronous call to a PHP file in order to interact with data, or it can be limited to front-end operations. Let's take a look at how we can set up a template for AJAX or asynchronous calls. Most examples online will include this first part with variable declarations, and then a function that specifies which action to do after a successful call. I've added this part here where we build our form data and add the different values entered by the user. Set request header may be required in some cases, such as if you need to submit data in the JSON format. It's good to keep the line as a comment so that when needed we can uncomment it and modify it. Then finally we have a call to the send function using form data as a parameter. This code will then be copied and pasted into a JavaScript function which we can call through a form button using onClick equals the name of the function. I hope this is useful. The code templates will be included in the description below. Please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching and see you in the next lesson.